A new memo from the Office of Personnel Management is turning some heads after setting some more relaxed rules for the department regarding religious expression. Under the memo's guidance, government employees will be allowed to display religious symbols like Bibles, crucifixes and mezuzahs at their desk or on their person, speak freely and engage in religious expressions with both co-workers and the public, and even encourage their co-workers to participate in expressions of faith. The memo goes on to say that employees can attempt to, quote, persuade others of the correctness of their own religious views, provided that such efforts are not harassing in nature.
The move received praise from many in Christian circles. Theology professor and podcaster Andrew T. Walker posted on X in part, "You don't have to baptize your convictions in secularism to work for the federal government. The new OPM guidance upholds obvious. Religious Americans are full citizens even at work."
But some on the left are accusing the Trump administration of encouraging government employees to proselytize at work. The Secular Coalition for America posted on social media, "Federal employees will now be able to proselytize on the job without consequences. It's another effort to grant privileges to certain religions while ignoring non-religious people's rights." And one advocacy group, Americans United for Separation of Church and State, even went so far as to call the guidance Christian nationalist, writing in a release, quote, "The federal government has been able to accommodate federal employees' religious expression without violating the religious freedom of the public or co-workers. The Trump administration is once again trying to advance a Christian nationalist agenda by encouraging federal officials to abuse the power of their office and impose religious beliefs on others."
But it's important to note that the guidance isn't exactly new. According to ABC's reporting, the Clinton administration gave them similar guidance, saying federal employees could, quote, discuss their religious views with one another, may even attempt to persuade fellow employees of the correctness of their religious views, but they must refrain from such expressions when a fellow employee asks that it stop. I mean, I guess I'm open to hearing more about why I'm wrong, but this seems perfectly fine to me. I don't have any problem with this. So I don't think religious speech should be treated different from other kinds of speech. Obviously, you shouldn't harass people. You shouldn't. A manager can't require you to do something religious at all. But that's just in terms of general, manager-employee relations. The coach at the public school can't require you to do anything, but you can, with a peer colleague, you can discuss religion, you can display religion. I don't know why. I don't think religion should be treated from like. If I was, we worked in, I don't know, the post or whatever, the transportation department, we're in the HR department there. If I was trying to convince you the Detroit Lions are a better team than the Washington Commanders, that's fine. It doesn't violate anything. So if I convince you, I mean, if I annoy you and I won't shut up about it, then it's just a workplace issue. But if I'm like, Christianity is pretty great, man, you should check it out, or Islam or Buddhism, I don't see why that would be different from any other speech.
So,
right?
I'm a big fan of the separation of church
and
state.
I am too.
And, I think that it is important, and therefore I'm inherently skeptical of any erosions of that division. Now, the thing that I have the bigger problem with here in terms of this memo is less the discussion of religion with co-workers, though I don't love that, and more the green light to display religious symbols, including in public places or when one is interacting with the public. Because whatever your religious view, and mine are agnostic/atheist, but whatever your religious view, I think it is fair to that a member of the public would have a concern that they would be treated in a discriminatory fashion if they did not share the particular religion ostentatiously being displayed by a federal worker.
Ooh, I got an example that's gonna flip your lid right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Person comes up to the DMV or whatever, and the person helping them is wearing a hijab, and they're not comfortable with it because the religion's being forced on them. You would be more sympathetic, I bet, in this case, to the person wearing the hijab.
Well, I mean, the wearing of the hijab...
Isn't that a religious display? I mean, again, from my point of view, I don't care because I don't want to treat religion differently. I think then it gets hard to define in some cases what exactly is a religion. What if, I'm wearing or what if I have a keychain with with Darth Vader's head on it? He's a Jedi, or I guess he's a Sith. Is that a religion? I mean, some people have tried to make Jedi a religion. That starts to get into a weird, where we have to have this narrow, clearly defined what is a religion, what are the clearly defined symbols of it. What if I don't recognize the religion, so then I don't. What if I'm an atheist, but I'm just wearing a cross because I like it as a fashion statement, but I don't assign any religious meaning to it, or like some of the kids these days wear cross earrings. It's not because they're Christian.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I do, but you see, let's say you're showing up to the DMV. Now, this new memo includes the displaying of posters. Now, I don't want to see at the desk of whoever's helping me at the DMV a massive cross displayed, a Star of David displayed, a poster of the Dome of the Rock and Allahu Akbar displayed. I don't want really any of those things in government offices. Now, the hijab, I think, where I would make a slight distinction there is that cultural or is it religious? I think you could make an argument either way on that. But I think whenever you have posters advertising a religion, I don't support that for any religion, nor for that matter, as an agnostic, would I support somebody having there is no God, or whatever, some atheist poster up there. I just think that the public space where it pertains to government is better cleansed of all that stuff. And I think that is where the balance of the more just or fair idealized.
Yeah, well, I guess a poster being up in the forward-facing, what the
public
booth
area
you go up to, then starts to suggest that it's an endorsement of whatever it is.
Right.
Right. We wouldn't want it to be an advertisement for a political candidate or whatever it is. Where, as opposed to if there's a bunch of workspaces and you have a poster of it, or display at your work desk, maybe it's clear that that's just your thing. Yeah. That seems fine. This is a kind of tricky one, little bit. What government employees should be able to do is always tricky, because the First Amendment is a very clear defense for you versus the government. So does it constrain, how much does it constrains the behavior of the government vis-a-vis non-government, vis-a-vis private citizens. It doesn't necessarily constrain government versus itself. That schools is where this has been litigated the most, and you don't lose your First Amendment rights as a student in the school.
Right.
But then at the university level, it could be a public university, technically a government thing. We don't. The teachers there have pretty robust First Amendment rights.
Right.
The teachers in the K through 12, though, are in a very murky middle ground where they certainly don't have full First Amendment rights. But you do. It's complicated. No, it's real complicated.
It is complicated, and as I understand this memo, it argues that you don't have the right to promote or promulgate your religion if you are speaking for the government, but you have the right to do it if you are working for the government and interacting with the public. Okay, there is a distinction there, I guess, but it can get pretty fuzzy pretty fast, I would say.
Yeah. I think setting too many rules on what you can discuss with your colleagues is in general just a bad thing. So this is why I'm broadly for this, because people spend a lot of time in the workplace, and the more sort of sanitized or PC or HR approved, obviously I don't want people harassing each other, bothering each other. You should knock that off. But the more you set rules to make interactions as sanitized as possible, I think the more you torture people in an office space sort of sense for long periods of the day. And I would just default toward taking a more hands-off approach to that. And if someone's bothering someone, go to the supervisor and tell them not to do that, and if it's not bothering them, it's fine. It should be just more of the general way it operates.
You know, I don't really disagree with that, particularly in private workplaces. And I, you know, grew up in a generation where the concept of safe spaces was not present at all, and where the purposes of, say, college education was to test beliefs by the clash of different beliefs. So I have sympathy with that, but I do think that it is different whenever it's someone working for the government. Then you do get into, I think, other issues about government endorsement of religion.
Tell us what you think. We've got a lot more to talk about on Rising. Please stay with us.